Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next panel, a discussion about developing the mobility, talent, and innovations of tomorrow.
Hi, everyone. Let's get ourselves situated. Everybody good? And water, all the important things. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Zoe Clark with Michigan Radio. It's so nice to see so many faces and get to be with one another talking about some really, really fascinating topics this afternoon. I am thrilled to be joined by a panel of leaders in mobility from the University Research Corridor. The URC, of course, is the alliance of Michigan's three major research universities: Michigan State University, Wayne State University, and the University of Michigan. Today, we are going to dig in and talk about how these three universities are providing research and the talent that's going to keep Michigan at the forefront of mobility innovation. And so when we talk about mobility innovation, it includes so much, right? So new developments in autonomous vehicles, expanses in mass transit, new approaches to road construction and technology, charging infrastructure, and so much more. And so we're going to geek out about that for about the next 30 minutes. And we also want to hear from you. If you have questions for our esteemed panelists at the very end, we will take them. So I want to welcome Judd Herzer. He's Director of Mobility at Michigan State University. Hi, Judd.
Hi, Zoe.
Dr. Liu, he is Director of M-City at the University of Michigan. Hello, Doctor.
Hello, everyone.
And Dr. Ali AutoMobili, Dean of the College of Engineering at Wayne State University.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you three here. So let's dig in. You know, the mobility industry, as anyone who is sitting on this floor knows, I don't need to tell you, right, is just in the midst of this major technological transformation. And so I'm curious sort of about what the key areas are where talent is most needed today, right, but also into the future. And Dean AutoMobili, I'm going to start with you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's a wonderful question. Obviously, there are many areas that talents are needed. At the forefront, we believe that electric vehicle technology, autonomous and connected vehicles, semiconductors, definitely supply chain, definitely advanced materials. Tesla has come up with a new alloy, aluminum alloy, that they're using for single cast body. And that will enhance basically, in other words, Ford, with its new GTD, they're using carbon fiber, even though it's not electric. But definitely advanced manufacturing. Tesla is making a Y model car in Shanghai for about 40 seconds assembly. And they're making Tesla in Germany for 10 hours compared to other manufacturers for 30. So these are all essential. Definitely sustainable urban infrastructure development. That is at the forefront. We're also looking at definitely policymakers as the electrification will enhance and move forward.
So what I'm hearing from that list is basically we need everything.
We need everything.
Dr. Liu, is that a fair statement of the talent that we need today and in the future?
Absolutely. I think I can't agree more with the Dean that we really need a whole spectrum of talents. Starting from connectivity, automation, and electrification, and then manufacturing, logistics, and everything of that. I think one of the additional thing I want to mention is really artificial intelligence and AI, and that's also underpinning many of the things we're talking about here. The autonomous vehicles, the electrifications, all many components of these are actually driven by AI, driven by data, and that's become more and more obvious. And that's why the students are actually getting into these areas as well.
Well, and I want to talk about the students and what that's going to mean for Michigan and the mobility future. But Judd, I mean, I see you nodding your head as well. If there was one group, one talent that you really needed right now, where would it be?
Well, as my colleagues have already mentioned, it's primarily just in the high-tech space, right? We've seen U.S. economy-wide demand for high-tech talent last year was 9.2 million. We're anticipating that to grow by 115,000 over the next year. And in the mobility space alone, we're seeing that demand grow exponentially as well. It's a sector of our workforce that's growing in terms of demand at 2 times the rate of the rest of the U.S. economy. But to answer your question, what do I see as a need in the mobility ecosystem? Well, for Michigan, it's talent that stays right here in our state. And we're super proud at MSU that 60% of our graduates stay in Michigan after they finish school. We need to be intentional about making sure that the students who are learning the advanced mobility technologies of the future are participating in Michigan's workforce.
Well, and these are sort of 2 parallel conversations that we're having, right, about the talent needs, but then actually making sure that the talent is going to stay here to build what this future looks like. Dr. Liu, let me start with you, and I want to get answers from all 3 of the universities. But Dr. Liu, for the University of Michigan, what are you doing to make sure that the talent stays here, stays put, right, and responds to their needs?
University of Michigan is a large university, so we have many programs, many centers, and working on mobility related. MCity is one of the research unit, and one of the program at MCity, I think really I want to mention is Tech Lab at MCity. And every year we recruit the startup companies locally from Michigan and come to the Tech Lab program. They work with a group of students at the University of Michigan, and then over a course of a year, and work on a specific problem. At the end, they have credits on those. And many of the Tech Lab companies eventually recruit these students to their company too. And one of the Tech Lab companies here is May Mobility. They participate in the Tech Lab program, before, and they are very, their presence in auto show is very obvious. And so there are other programs at the University of Michigan also trying to educate these students and retain these students at the University of Michigan. I'm going to give chances to my 2 colleagues to respond.
Dean.
What are we doing?
Yes.
Not much. Students at Wayne State, they're built in Michigan, they stay in Michigan. But we have very strong internship program. We have a very strong Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which connect students directly to industry, to basically mobility industry. Our students, they receive credit for internship, academic credit for internship. That will help them to be engaged with the industry that they're working with in mobility, and they will definitely stay here. Majority of our students, they seek and they receive jobs in Michigan, basically.
Judd?
Yeah, MSU, we have the internship programs too. We do job fairs. We have industry days where we invite our corporate partners onto campus to talk directly to students. But one thing that we've been more recently involved in that we're super happy about, super excited about, is the state's new EV Scholars Program. This program offers scholarship resources to students who do internships in the mobility sector in Michigan, and then additional resources after graduation when they take a job in Michigan's mobility sector. So we're hoping to see this program continue to grow, both in terms of the critical areas that of Michigan's mobility sector that students are eligible to receive benefits for, but also in the resources that the state's putting behind it so that more students can gain access to it.
If all 3 of you, and you don't have to share the magic wand, but if all 3 of you had your own magic wand, what is the one thing that you think talent needs in order to be part of this mobility future in Michigan? Judd, I'm going to start with you.
So for me, it'd be doing more real-world exposure for the students. We have our 5,200 acre campus in East Lansing is one connected mobility ecosystem for doing real world deployments and testing of mobility technologies. And I think it's been great for students to be able to get some hands-on learning of the practical applications of the technologies that they're learning about and helping develop. And so being able to do more of that with more corporate partners especially would be super helpful for us.
Dr. Liu?
So I think I would agree with John that the magic is really experiential learning by doing, and getting students into these real-world deployment, into these programs that they can work on real problems is very, very important. And the program we're doing at MCity, at the Armtree, at the EV Center, a lot of these related with real-world deployment, testing the real-world in the real-world environment, and then getting students being familiar with what's happening in the industry. Then that's very, very important. I think the magic, really, I agree with John that the magic is learning by doing.
Dean?
Totally agreed with both of my colleagues. We have established engineering clinic at Wayne State College of Engineering. That is modeled after medical schools, where students, they have 2 years of theory and 2 years of hospital rotations. The clinic will bring projects from industry, real life projects from industry that students are engaged working in the clinic under the supervision of a clinic director who is a professional engineer, not a faculty member, an 8 to 5 professional engineer. So that with that one, they get full level of experiential learning that my colleagues are talking about.
So what I'm hearing is this need, but also what you're doing, which is sort of learning by actually doing. And then this pipeline to make sure that once students have learned that there's jobs.
Yeah, 100%. We are pretty intentional at Michigan State University, making sure that students have access to the counselors and academic advisors who are helping them understand what jobs are going to be available to them at the end of their post-secondary career, helping them align the coursework that they're taking to what the demands of those jobs are going to be, helping them identify the internship and mentorship opportunities throughout their undergraduate programs, and really just getting connected with the industry partners so that they not only get an understanding of the practical applications of the knowledge that they're building, but also get a understanding of what the workplace environment is like, what the corporate culture is, and what the workplace ethic is like, work ethic is like. And I think that's helping them be better prepared for those jobs of tomorrow and better, more ready, I guess, to enter the workforce after graduation.
So innovation is key, of course, to ensuring the mobility industry remains competitive, and that talent is capable of developing new innovations to move the industry forward. That is going to be critical. So I'm curious, and Dean, I'll start with you. What types of opportunities are available to University Research Corridor students seeking to develop innovations in the mobility area?
We have what is called Anderson Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship within the College of Engineering, where students will start at the undergraduate level. Not only at undergraduate level, we actually have them at all levels, K-12, undergraduate, master's, PhD level. That institute is available to them. We are directly connected to Detroit's Tecton, and Detroit's Tecton will provide startup companies for them. Our students are working on multi-million-dollar federal grants in the area of mobility now at graduate level, and undergraduate level. Again, the Anderson Institute is there in order to guide them to excel in mobility area.
And what do you hear from students who go through this program?
Oh, they're excited. Our students are very excited. Actually, our alums, some of our alums are holding huge companies. And it was, the Anderson Institute is named after the donor of the institute, who himself was a undergraduate here at Wayne State, and he made it big. So he decided to create an innovation. He's telling me always that he wants to make another Bill Gates out of this institute. So.
Well, congratulations. So, Dr. Liu, same question. I'm curious about what opportunities are available to students who are seeking to develop their own innovations in the mobility arena.
Yeah, I think one of the things I want to mention is still is learning by doing. When they work on research projects, they bring many opportunities for them to develop their own sort of product out of these projects, and later on they move on to have startup companies and things like that. And this has happening in the past, and it's continued to flourish in terms of getting the student through these projects and eventually develop their own product and into the space. So I think the opportunity is really to work on the real world problems, address those, and then putting those to practice.
Would you be willing to give an example of something that a student might see as a real world problem and then come up with an innovation? I don't want to give any trade secrets away, but
yeah. So one of the examples I want to give it to you is it's a project we supported through our regional University Transportation Center, Center for Connected Automated Transportation. We supported the project to develop the mitigation for motion sickness for autonomous vehicles, right? So most of the people, if you drive vehicle, you don't have motion sickness. When you sit on the passenger seat, you might get motion sickness, right? So when we have autonomous vehicle, everybody become passenger. You don't have, we don't have driver anymore. Then how do you mitigate the motion sickness of this? And Professor Shorel Ottawa in mechanical engineering and his student developed this devices put underneath of your seat that can sense in terms of what vehicle is moving and then mitigate in terms of that movement for your sensing, for people's sensing capability. And they are commercializing that, and the student is doing that also.
That is fascinating.
That's one of the example.
I personally am fascinated by this idea. Maybe I'm giving a little too much away here. But that also could be something that isn't necessarily just for the future of mobility. I could see that just sort of in society in general, right? Wow. Okay. Judd?
Yeah, well, I think one of the great ways that students have opportunities to learn at MSU is through the participation in our student teams, like some of the groups that we have here with us at the Auto Show today. We've got our two-time NASA award-winning drone team, our SAE racer team that's building a new battery electric SAE racer from the ground up. We got our Baja racing team with us that just took third place in the SAE International Baja Racing Competition last weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're very proud. But it gives students an opportunity by participating in these student teams to really take a mobility project from start to finish. From the concept to design and engineering to build and then sometimes race. Phases. It's intended to mimic what the industry life cycle is of a design, build, produce life cycle for the mobility products and services that they have. So it's a way for them to, like we've talked about already, get that real world experience, but also in a way that is designed to kind of parallel what's expected of them when they enter industry after graduation.
So I have to ask a follow-up. You saw me personally get excited about motion sickness. I'm now going to get personally excited about NASA. What was this that they won, and what did they build, and what did they do?
So NASA has a program that supports student drone teams across the country. Our MSU team has now won 2 grants from NASA. The first project that they're working on is actually last mile package delivery focused, so leveraging the existing transportation system. Meaning they're landing on delivery trucks and vans and electromagnetically attaching and charging while they're driving into, say a neighborhood that then they can lift off of, go deliver package and come back. The second one that we have going on, super exciting, especially as we think towards the future of aerial mobility and drone technology and beyond visual line of sight operations. is a project where they're developing a ground system that through laser technology sends an electronic charge to the drone while it's flying in the air so that the drone doesn't have to come down to charge its batteries. They can actually remain in the air continuously and receive a charge wirelessly from the ground, which is important. The practical application that they're focused on right now is in assisting firefighters combat wildfires and being able to have a continuous survey of where the fire is happening. And yeah.
These examples are blowing my mind. Dean, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me about some real world things that we're going to be, seeing in years to come in society from your students.
Absolutely. I'm going to switch and address the other part, something very exciting that has been implemented with majority of the cities. Have you all been in traffic when during the road construction?
Never in Michigan.
Okay.
Never. I know the governor's walking around. We've never dealt with that.
We have developed a concrete material, our students, that has no steel reinforcement, therefore there are no corrosion. It's with synthetic fiber and concrete. Normally the roads are closed for a week for the concrete to basically cure, so it's ready to open the roads. The concrete we have developed, you can open the road in 12 hours. The idea has been embraced and implemented in city of Dallas, and now we're talking with city of Detroit in order to implement that idea here. That means all the traffic closures would reduce significantly from 7 days to 12 hours, maximum 18 hours. In Dallas, they opened it in 18 hours.
This is just fascinating. I mean, I don't mean to geek out about it, but I mean, is this sort of when you meet these students, you all three have been in the mobility space and lived and breathed it, but it must be so engaging to then meet students, this next generation who come up with these ideas. They're just sort of mind-blowing.
It absolutely is. I think being on campus is a really cool part of our jobs, and being able to see the young minds kind of exploring these different worlds, mobility in particular, just because it has such a wide-ranging impact and high potential future.
Yeah, I guess I want to kind of pivot to that from the students' perspective, and given I think probably for all of us, we haven't been students for a few years, but you certainly are engaging with them, and I'm curious what you hear from them about what interests them in the mobility industry. Like, what is it that gets them going? Jed, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I see two things that are kind of evolving right now. The first of which is the mobility sector being one that can provide them a platform from which to do something more than just, earn a really good paycheck. Building the next generation electric vehicle isn't just about helping your company compete. It's about being part of the vanguard of combating climate change. Developing the next generation ADAS system isn't just about helping your company target emerging profit pools, but it's about making the transportation system safer and more equitable and more accessible to more people. I think we see students wanting to do something bigger with their lives and with their careers, and the mobility sector offers them that opportunity. The second thing that I see is, because this is our heritage here in Michigan, they recognize the mobility ecosystem as a rapidly emerging high-tech industry. And historically, for decades, those high-tech careers were on the coast. And now we have an industry right here at home where they can apply that high-tech training that they have and innovate in an ecosystem that's in their own backyard. And to be a part of the change to an industry that they're super familiar with, maybe dad, maybe grandma and grandpa participated in this industry before, and now they have their opportunity to shape it in their own way.
Dr. Liu, what are you hearing from students about what excites them?
I think really the opportunity of this mobility transformation, and if you think even 10 years back and compare what we have now, the connectivity, the automation, the electrification, all of these things is coming together, and it's impacting the mobility. the whole mobility ecosystem, mobility space is changing. They're bringing the job opportunities. More importantly, I think also bringing the impact to the society. They're seeing this is being implemented and making impact to the society. And they can be part of it and to make that impact as well. I think that's the opportunity to really attract a lot of the students. And this semester I'm teaching a class on traffic science, and many of the students want to get into space from other areas, want to get into mobility, and they're taking the classes to trying to get into that space.
Dr. Liu, I just have to ask you a follow-up. What does the syllabus look like for a traffic sign class?
Oh, great. So this is actually, traffic science is actually a traditional transportation engineering class. It used to be called traffic engineering, meaning how we manage traffic flow on the road. And I converted into traffic science because it's broader. Now we're talking about driven vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and how you evaluate the impact of those to the traffic flow and to a certain extent the society. And so we need to know the science behind it before we can really think in terms of how we can mitigate the impact.
I want to come audit that class. Dean, what are you hearing from students about what's invigorating for them?
What I'm hearing is mostly the interdisciplinary nature of mobility, with multi-phases of different disciplines combining to form mobility. For example, if you're in an electric vehicle, conventional mechanical engineering programs are not responsive anymore. They need to have a new program. I was talking with one of the head of the EVs, and they said we need EV requires not mechanical engineering should not only be mechanical, it should be electrical engineering, should be computer science, artificial intelligence. That inspires the students, that they work on different areas. They do programming, they do electric vehicle, they do conventional mechanical engineering. On that front, we established basically number of new degree programs. We do have electric vehicle engineering at Wayne State. We do have semiconductor engineering at Wayne State, which is a combination of multi-engineering disciplines. And also we established battery science and battery storage and vehicle science engineering at Wayne State. That is attracting a lot of students because of its multidisciplinary nature. That's what we are hearing.
And again, something to sort of help society at large. We just have a couple minutes. It went by so quick. I'm curious if anyone has some questions for these really fascinating brains who are up here on the stage. Yes, here, let me hand you the microphone. You can take over.
Yeah, sorry, Mark DeSilva from SEMI. What is the focus on the curriculum for the future of mobility? Like, how is that evolving? Like, I was very curious about
Pardon?
the future of the curriculum that you're teaching.
Yeah, like I mentioned, we are transforming into changing the conventional curriculum to multidisciplinary type curriculum. Our electric vehicle engineering program, which is a master's degree, it was initially funded. It was the first electric vehicle engineering in the nation funded by Department of Energy years back before I arrived here as a dean. I've been the dean for 1 year and 2 months and 22 days here. So that is completely mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, and industrial engineering. It's a combination of all. Similarly to our, we have an online program in battery storage and vehicle science. Again, it's a multidisciplinary. We're changing all that, and we're getting a lot of traction from around the country. We have also made 2 of the programs online programs, so entire nation have access to it. So.
Amazing. Dr. Liu or Judd, we got about a minute left. Do you want to give us a quick rundown?
I couldn't agree more with the dean. I think multidisciplinary is very important. And then just give you one example how we're transforming the curriculum. One of the classes in civil engineering transportation program in my department is offering now called data science for transportation. And that's a civil engineering class.
Judd, I'm going to leave it to you.
Well, I agree with both my colleagues. The cross-functional, interdisciplinary engineer of the future is exactly what industry wants. for a long time, they wanted, a single discipline expert, like a mechanical engineer, an electrical engineer. Now we want computer engineers with a background in chemistry, electronics, and mechanical engineering and others. But one other way, going even slightly broader than just the multiple discipline engineer, it's involving other areas of study as well. So making sure that we're involving like our social sciences, our law programs, our other colleges across our university, to make sure that we're actually taking the mobility learnings that we're developing in, for instance, like a College of Engineering, and exporting them into these other fields as well, so that we're not just generating the next innovator in terms of an engineering breakthrough, but we're training the next generation of policy majors, public policy majors, and attorneys, and people who are going to really be more holistic across our society about what the future of mobility is going to do for us.
Which is what these research universities can do, and what all three of you are. I want to thank you all for your work, for sharing the work in what is going to be this future of mobility and innovation in the state of Michigan, and the University Research Corridor coming together to make all of this work happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
thank
to
you, everyone.
URC.